Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Dimitri,
Welcome,
welcome.
welcome.
How's it going? Hello. My name is Dimitri. I won't bother you with my last name because it will actually be Greek to everybody. I'm joining from sunny New York, actually. We actually have like 95 degrees here. It was great to meet the broader team last week at the summit. We had a lot of fun and we got to talk about a lot of different things. So I also do developer relations. What does that mean, right? NVIDIA makes a lot of great hardware, from GPUs to networking to a whole GPU platform, right? And everything is available on AWS. But we also make a lot of great software to complement that hardware, right? We have a really great partnership with AWS, a really long partnership. So we've made a lot of our software available and integrated into these services across the board, right? My job is to talk to developers, get developers as much experience as possible on these services to use both the AWS services, but also the NVIDIA technology, right? And we are working and we are pushing this partnership as much as we can. We are going to be accelerating a lot of different services and a lot of different platforms on AWS by integrating our libraries and our tools and our frameworks. From Riva, let's say, for example, is one of our products that does speech to text or text to speech. Or we're going to be integrating, and we are already supporting Dynamo on EKS. These are different just tools for developers to use for AI, right? So developers can use the whole stack, starting from all the way to the top models and APIs to accelerated software for AI on top of these GPUs, everything in AWS and on these AWS platforms.
Dimitri,
so today,
I was going to say, I missed everything you said because in my head, I've been trying to pronounce your last name. You just left me on a cliff there with your last name. No, but that's cool. So NVIDIA has been in the news a lot lately, if anybody's following along with cloud technology, but mostly known for hardware, like you said, but we've also had NVIDIA quite a bit on this show to talk about some of their software products, including NIMS. We've talked about a lot. Now we're going to be talking about Nemotron. So I just question quickly, what is it?
That is a great question. So Nemotron is NVIDIA's essentially family of models, but they are specific reasoning models, right? So they are what we call, let's say, not the next generation, but just one more option. And reasoning models are used mainly as the core of agents, right? Like they're really good in thinking, they're really good in planning. They can check resources. You can use a reasoning model to not just generate an answer, but also it can kind of think, right? So that's how you create an agent. So a reasoning model would not just take a prompt, go back, generate an answer, and give it to you. It would think about it a little bit. It would plan. It could use some external tools, and it could follow up with clarifying questions, right? So it also learns as it goes. So you actually have a digital co-worker rather than just, a chatbot. And Nemotron is NVIDIA's essentially family of models that do that. They come in all different sizes, from nano to medium to large, right? Depending on the developer's use case or the compute availability, the accuracy, and the KPIs that every application needs. We offer this in a lot of different sizes. And Todd, as you mentioned, it comes with a NIM. So it comes in a prepackaged microservice along with all the necessary software that is going to help that model run on that particular GPU in a more optimized way. And everything natively integrated into the AWS services.
Yeah, that is fascinating to hear. This is another model, but tell me, Dimitri, where can I find it?
All right, exactly. So I can talk about it all day, right? But I'm also a developer, so I'd rather see it, and I'd rather see it in action and walk through it than just hear a person talk this. So let me walk you through all of the different options that we have here.
Yeah. So, and Chad has asked, so is this using Bedrock with NVIDIA?
It is, yeah.
Or the other way around, using NVIDIA with Bedrock. I don't know which, maybe both.
Yeah, it's actually, it's both essentially. So it's a whole stack, right? So we can deploy this NVIDIA model on a Bedrock endpoint, and all the way to the bottom, essentially, it also uses the NVIDIA GPUs, right? So you're getting a whole stack of both NVIDIA software and hardware and all the benefits and the assets of Bedrock. All right, so let me walk you through all of these different options, right? So we're gonna start with our essentially front page, the NVIDIA front page, which we call build.nvidia.com. It's a great catalog of different models, and we are hosting them so people can actually just start, experiment, play with the model, see what it is, and then you can actually pull the model through this website and start deploying it on EKS or your other, even on an EC2 instance, right? So let me walk you through this website. That was the front page. We're gonna go on the models page. And then if we type Nemotron here, and remember, I said it's a whole family of models. So we have a lot of different versions and a lot of different sizes for these models. So if I go, for example, in this one, which is the Ultra, right? We are hosting it. So we have built this UI, this experience as a first step for people to experiment with it. We've built this whole chat bot, and you can see here we have reasoning on and off. We can ask a question, it's going to generate an answer. We can also see, if we choose to, we can see the thinking of the model, so the reasoning. So it justifies why it took an action or why it went down a path, so we can actually get better results and details. Now, if I can interact with the chat model here, or I can go on the model card and I get all of the different performance information and hardware requirements, way more documentation, right? So you can go deeper and deeper. But as I said, this is kind of like the front door. So you can go down as much as you want, as deeply technical as you want. And then you can actually also see a code, and you can copy this code and call this API from your application. So you can actually input this this code snippet into your application, and you can call this API. But as I mentioned, today here, we are here to find Nemotron, right? A lot of different options on the AWS console and platform. I'm going to switch over to the AWS Marketplace. I've already typed it in. So this is the general AWS Marketplace. If I type in NVIDIA Nemotron, these are the results that come up, right? The different sizes, the different options. I can click on one, and I get the product overview, the highlights, pricing, and usage, and everything. And then I can actually start deploying it and using it. And we're going to go a little bit deeper more, right? So I'm going to go on the AWS console. I'm going to start with SageMaker, right? SageMaker is an amazing platform. We have deeply integrated these names and Nemotron in SageMaker. So I'm going to start on the homepage of SageMaker, right? If I scroll a little bit further down and go to Jumpstart. So Jumpstart has all of the different models. I'm going to type in here NVIDIA Nemotron, right?
Hey, Dimitri, while you're bringing that up, it looks like we've got a little bit of some questions in the chat. People are getting maybe a little confused. Just to clarify, Daily Push wants to know, am I signing up for NVIDIA or am I signing up for Amazon? And I think what you're walking through right now might clarify that. So I just want to frame what you're showing.
Yeah. So the first website that I mentioned is NVIDIA's, right? So you created an account on the NVIDIA portal, but you can pull the container. All of these models are inside a container, and you can pull the container and deploy it on AWS, on any different service that you want. But we want to make our developers' life easier, right? We want to promote this partnership. So we have made the names and the models available directly inside of SageMaker. So what I'm showing right now here is the SageMaker platform, right? And we make it easier, we make it faster for developers to find these models, deploy them with just a few clicks, and then start using it.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, Dimitri. I don't want to rush you, but we've just got just a few minutes left to go on this segment. So I want to make sure
we have to wrap. Unfortunately, Dimitri, where do you want people to go next? Where can they find you and learn more about the work that you're doing, helping folks discover NVIDIA?
Yeah. So I would say the first stop would be build.nvidia.com, but also through the SageMaker Jumpstart and the Bedrock Model Garden. They can just type in NVIDIA. They're going to see all of these different options. Just a few clicks away, you deploy it, you start using it, and get the benefits of both AWS and NVIDIA software and hardware.
Awesome. Dimitri, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today, showing us where to find Nemotron. Super excited to learn more about this model. And we are coming back with training and certification after this.
Thanks, Dimitri.